Applause? You guys shouldn't have. Oh, wait. You didn't. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. You know, to turn this down a little bit. I don't normally do things at this time of day, and certainly not on Saturday. What am I doing? What sorcery is this? Well, look, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. And what's happening is it's getting really hot outside. Not really, really hot, like it's gonna. But when I moved here last week, it was in the 60s. And today it's around 88. So it's coming. And I'm still just windows open, trying to go with that for a while. I'm finding the broadcast so I can join you, if there's even anybody there. Where is it? Did I not put this on my, no, it says the Bob Doyle Show's live. Why can't I find me? Bear with me, if you're there. I don't know if you are. I don't see anybody over here. Bob Doyle Show's now live, minute ago, live. But if I can't see me, oh, there I am, okay. Man, do I look like I've been out in the sun. Nori, you're the first one here. See, I caught everybody off guard. Nobody was expecting this. They were just minding their own business, doing their Saturday, thinking, well, I don't know what the future has in store for me, but I'm sure it's not a Law of Attraction Q&A with Bob Doyle, because he only does that Wednesday mornings at 7:30. But I got you, see? I surprised you. I gave it a twist that you weren't expecting. That's what keeps our relationship fresh. Don't you appreciate that about me? Because I appreciate it about you. You're always surprising me. It's just, you know, that's why we'll always be together. Okay, so what do I do on these live? If you're new, let's find out who you are. Look, it worked. I love it when it works. So Nori's here, Dagny's here, Bruno's here, Kathy's here, Gatu is here. Jane, are you kidding me with this, Jane? And Joe. I'm glad you're happy to see me. You're not half as happy as I am to see you, Joe. And that's almost provable. But almost ain't quite it. So you're just going to have to trust me. So here's what we do here. We answer Law of Attraction questions, because duh, right? But we try to have fun with it, right? Try not to take it all so seriously. How many of you have been guilty of taking the Law of Attraction a little seriously? Come on. I'm gonna wait for some thumbs up. How many of you have been guilty of taking the Law of Attraction just a little too seriously? You know, getting real heavy about it. Oh, I got to figure out my stuff. I can't figure out my passion. I'm trying, I'm doing it, but it's not work. Anyone? Ooh, we've got some hearts. It's not so fun, is it, when you do it that way? And that's how we've just kind of learned, I don't know, because we're working on ourselves. Got to be serious because it's our life we're talking about. But, you know, no. And I can tell you I have been guilty of that, taking so many things so seriously. So seriously. And the Law of Attraction being one of them. If you look at my early work, just go to YouTube. Not right now. In a second. No, not in a second. In a minute. Later. After I'm done here. You're in such a hurry to leave. You just got here. Relax, will you? We haven't even started. But you'll see that I was pretty serious. I was pretty serious. Didn't smile so much. But see now, all I do is smile. That's all I do. Wouldn't you like to only smile too? Well, then you just got to jump on the Bob Doyle train. That's because that's what we do here. Bob Doyle Show, whether it's the Monday through Friday silliness we do at 7:30, except on Wednesdays when we do this, although, you know, guilty. Sometimes we get silly, am I right, everybody? No, that's not Sedona. It's somewhere in the desert here. It's somewhere in the desert here. Normally I shoot my camera out the window so you can see what I'm looking at, but you know what? I just didn't, okay? I just didn't. It would have taken time. I just wanted to go right now. So stock picture. So, you know, I'm kind of on this, I'm glad you're here, Gatu. Awesome. There's a lot about my law of attraction message that has shifted over the course of the decade and then some. What? And I'm going to just tell you right now that of all the things you can, of all the things to put your focus on in terms of the law of attraction, more than what you, certainly more than the stuff you want to attract, certainly more than that. But even more than figuring out why it's not working for you and going after the resistance and all those things that are important, the most important thing you can be creating is your vision for who you are being. So if you can separate who you're being from all the stuff that you think is going to be required to make you happy or the most powerful version of yourself, and instead of thinking about the stuff, thinking about who you're being as a result then of attracting that stuff. Who are you being? How happy are you? How carefree? How much fun do you have? How are you with people? How do people respond to you? And what's different about this future you than what you're doing right now? Because here's the thing about being. You don't really ever need any external stuff. You start with the being, and then the stuff comes. So if you really want to fast track this law of attraction thing, instead of focusing on cars and money and all that other stuff, think about who you're being. Because I'm telling you that when you do that, when you focus on who you're being, like a lot of people, they go, I don't know what I want, you know? Or they default to, oh, I want all the money, or I want the car, I want the, you know, all that stuff. But none of that is taking into consideration who they really are, what they're passionate about, and who they're going to be being. You know, if who you desire to be in the world will be supported in being that with an abundance of money and the big house and the cars and all of that, if all of that contributes to you being that awesome, powerful, and there's, look, you get to choose what it is. You don't even have to be noble about it, to be quite honest with you. You just got to be clear. Who are you being? How are you feeling? And if you and you use the visions of the stuff to create the feeling, hopefully, but it's the feeling of who you're being that's the most important thing. Because it's in the being that you've experienced the happiness and the joy or whatever feeling you're going for. Because remember, you're just going for a feeling. The stuff is not the end game at all. It's completely how the stuff is going to make you feel, or so you think. So if you just focus on the feeling, because a lot of times, if you have, let's say you have a block about money. Well, if you've got this idea that money is your savior here, but you've got blocks on it, then getting to that feeling through money is going to be slow going. Just go to the feeling and bypass what you think is going to give it to you, because here's what can happen. Instead of focusing on the little details of the stuff and all that you think is going to make you happy, if you're not clear on that, or if you're not able to access the true feeling, bypass all that and just imagine, okay, well, if I had whatever it was, how would I feel? You can do that. And then watch the vision unfold for you. Let the universe fill in the gaps of the hows and the whats and all that stuff is going to make you happy. Just let it come to you. That's the easiest way. But we get attached to how we're wanting to do it. Carrie Ann has a question. And here it is. What happens when you get sad because of a condition? And I know it's about feeling good, but I can't stop thinking about the condition. I wish I had a little more information about the condition. Is it a health condition? Is it a financial situation? Is it a relationship? Because all of those have a unique resistance type of footprint, and your inability or ability to let go of it is going to be dependent on what it is that's keeping you hooked. So there's no one-size-fits-all answer, which is true, by the way, for a lot of law of attraction stuff, which is why, you know, sometimes doing a program or even just doing these Q&As isn't enough. Oh, here he comes with the group coaching. Oh no, here it comes. That's right. look, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm also going to tell you that the group coaching thing closes on Wednesday. We're going to start actually the 21st or whatever, the 7 days after, a week after tax season, or tax whatever, here in the United States. I'm going to let people get through that, and then we're going to start our sessions. But we're closing the enrollment on Wednesday. So I'd really, really urge you to look into that if this law of attraction thing is something that you're serious enough about to not just listen to Q&As and not just read books and not just do programs and even not just take one-on-one coaching stuff. Because look, if you've been studying the law of attraction for a really long time and it just seems like it's slow going, you feel like you're doing everything right, then it's time to shake up how you're doing it, right? And allow contribution from new people and coaching on a consistent basis and accountability and making sure you're in action, you know, and getting the support for a continued amount of time, surrounded by people who are on the same page as you, right? Not the naysayers going, what are you doing? You can't do that. That's silly. That's goofy, right? Anybody who kind of takes your energy level down. You're in a supportive environment for 90 days and wowie, wowie. It makes a huge freaking difference. And so I'm inviting you to go check out the page. Just check it out. Watch the little videos that I so, with all my love and heart, created for you. And listen to the folks who have done the program before. And look, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I really just, this is really for the people who have been chasing this law of attraction thing for a long time and just not seeing it. Right? Well, there's a zillion reasons why that might be happening with all the knowledge you have. But generally speaking, you need to get into a mindset that is consistent over a long period of time. And when the resistant stuff comes up that sometimes you can't see, it needs to be shown to you, and then you need to be able to work through it, right? And have the tools and support to do that. If you don't have that, then what are you doing to get through it? Most people just get stopped and stuck, and they say, I'm studying, I'm staying, I'm watching Abraham, blah, 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 I'm just the whole thing. Obsessed with the idea of the law of attraction, but really not seeing the results. And so, you know, the group coaching program is a kick in the pants. It's just, and anyone in here who has worked with me knows that. It's a kick in the pants, but it's a great one, and you just come out on the other end such a different person. Go watch the videos, you'll see. And ask those people. You don't have to believe me, even though I wish you would. You know, I thought we had something here. I think we do. I'm not worried. Okay. So, working on relationships for Kathy. So is that your bugaboo? You know, the whole relationship thing gets summed up. I mean, we talk about it in group coaching for Scherzels because it's huge, and it comes up almost immediately because of lots of reasons. This last group coaching, it was very relationship heavy. Lots of action going on in relationships. Yeah. But it really comes down to, again, and it sounds so simple, it almost sounds cliche, but the self-love piece, right? You have to become... You got to be okay 100% with this, right? And like okay to be with just this, because as soon as you start to get the feel like you need, now desiring a partner is not the same as not the attachment to, if I don't have this, I don't feel complete, right? So we need to be aware of those and aware of those feelings, and sometimes there's a very subtle difference, and that's again where help from the outside can really help. You know, when people who've been down that road before, right? And you get that reflection back. I mean, I'm there in the group, obviously, as the law of attraction expert, facilitator of the thing, but you're getting help from all directions, not just me. And it's every day. Okay, Bruno says, Bob, that's the thing with being. It's hard to focus on the being if they are afraid of that. Oh, crap, I don't have enough context for that. Afraid of being? I'm not sure. That's the, you know, as much as I love this technology, that delay sometimes in a Q&A environment, it gets a little crazy. And then I watch the replay and I go, oh, I see what he was trying to say. Sometimes it's so freaking obvious. I didn't I can't believe I didn't catch it the first time. But I have broadcast brain that cuts on when I'm doing this, and it doesn't see everything. It tries. But some of the more subtle things it's gone. And if I miss a comment, well, out of context. But anyway, so again, to get back to the original message, again, being is all about self-love. It's just who do you want to be? Because the stuff that's in your life will be a result of who you're being. So, and whether you know it or not, you're fantasizing about all this. You've got these visions, you have these desires, so that you can be something, be wealthy, be abundant, be loved, be secure, right? But most people are focused on the fact that they're not feeling those things, so they just keep not feeling them because that's what they're in alignment with. But they've got this, but I'm studying the law of attraction, right? But I know I have all these limiting beliefs and, oh, I'm just stuck in this area if I could just, and then we get into that conversation. Because remember, the ego, which we all have, you know, is part of its design is to keep you comfortable and safe. And expanding into being somebody new and bigger does not feel safe. And so it's going to use everything it has, which is, it's you, it's part of you, all the knowledge, all the experience. It knows exactly what to do to get you to not take action. And if you're not vigilant, it will just sound like logic and reason, and you'll listen to it, and you won't take action, and you won't ever get where you're going, because, guys, it's all about action, just like I was saying on Wednesday morning. All of this stuff, all the visioning and all of that, it creates an energetic event, a conversation with the universe, and the universe brings to you what is in alignment with your overall vibration. And if that is your next step, your intuitive nudge, you know, as long as you just take that action, it all just works out. But we don't take the action because we go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Well, how could I do that? Or I don't know how to do that, whatever. Right? And because the ego goes, oh, if he does this, something's gonna change, and that's dangerous. Warning, warning. And again, if you don't have a support system of some kind, it can feel dangerous. Look, sometimes it feels like falling into abyss, because if you want to be somebody, if you haven't defined who you are going to be, now hear this, if you haven't defined who you're going to be, then especially to your ego, the idea of giving up who you've been is frightening, because you're basically saying you're not going to exist anymore. You haven't even told it what you're going to replace it with. You just are like, I just want you out of here. Well, the ego's going to fight for its life. And it's going to throw everything it's got at you. And if you're not armed and ready, it will get the best of you. You know, and then you stay stuck and frustrated. But you believe. But, you know, and look, I don't really mean to mock the people who are stuck in that pattern about their believing. But here's what I'm saying, we can get you past that. That's the Bob Doyle guarantee. And if you don't get past it, well, then, okay. You're also, see, look, if you don't take, and look, and whether it's my coaching program or whatever action is presented to you to take, and if you don't take it knowing that it's going to help you, then what you're doing is you are making a statement to the universe that says, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve what's on the other side of taking this action. And if that's the conversation you're having with the universe, then you should not be surprised at all that the most important things, the things you want the most, are not coming to you. Because if you don't feel like you deserve the gift of getting through all this and getting clear on this, then what makes you think you feel like you deserve all this stuff? Look, I work with so many people who have the visions and do the stuff, but when it comes right down to it, they still don't believe they deserve it. And then that's the barrier. You can do it all. But if you've got this force field up of, I'm not worthy, wherever that voice came from, it can't get to you. And even if it almost does, you're gonna reject it somehow. You're gonna lose it somehow. Because you're not in energetic alignment with it. It can't stay there. So you've got to learn that you deserve this. And that's part of what we do in the course as well. All right, Bruno says, recapping, the thing with being is that it's hard to focus on being what they truly want. Do you mean like people? Because whether you like it or not, you have to interact with other people. For me, I feel like I have to put a mask on to be able to live amongst others, or else I will live in a forest forever, and I like socializing. Well, so stop feeling that way. If that's your belief, then that's how it's gonna show up. You're gonna feel like you're isolated, like you got nobody to talk to in your circle and all of that, and that's what's gonna show up for you. And you're gonna prove yourself right. What if you started asking yourself questions like, wow, how is it so easy to find like-minded people? How did it get so simple all of a sudden? And get into that feeling of you're surrounded by like-minded people rather than looking at that you're not. You know, and it's through that you'll see life through a different lens. Maybe you'll find a Facebook group or something that's like, oh, there's a possible community or something, because you're looking for something different. You're not looking for the problem. You're looking for you're expecting the solution, and so you won't be blind to it. See what I'm saying? Sebastian, I love to be told I make sense. Dawn is here. Dawn Fisher, I mean. We got lots of Dawns. A third Dawn joined the Bob Doyle Show fan arena today. We have got a good supply of Dawns, but we'll take as many as we can get, right? All right, so any other questions besides how quickly can I get over here and get in this group coaching before it closes on Wednesday? So next Wednesday will be my last, look, I shouldn't even say that because something might happen. I don't want to say I'm not going to do it again and then do it again and be one of those marketing people. But let me just say that it is my intention at this time to close this up by Wednesday. But here's what I will do. If I don't close it on Wednesday, I'm going to raise the price. Oh, you jerk. How dare you move me into action? Ugh. Hey, I got to do what I got to do. You'll thank me later, I promise. Okay. Okay. You doubting Tomai. That's plural for Thomas. Ephraim is here. Time for joy and cheer. Now, I know you're probably thinking that I'm going to say something about a beer, but I'm not. So, you were wrong. All right. Anyone have a question? I know I kind of went off on group coaching. Why? Because that's what works the best. Of all the stuff I've ever done, I give away a lot of information. Those Law of Attraction Q&As on Wednesdays like these, if you just watched all that, you'd have more content that's more up to date than if you bought all of my programs I've ever done. Except group coaching. You can't replace that. You can't. That's experiential. And there's the dynamic. And it's not doing a program. It is adjusting your everyday life to be in alignment with who you say you want to be. And if you don't know who that is, we're going to get that handled. And thus begins the rest of your life. If you don't, if not now, when? I'm waiting for a question. Or did I just, that's all you need to know. Oh, okay, so it's all about being. I don't need any more Q&A. I'm just going to focus on who I'm being. If that was true and you all just got it on that level, it would be bittersweet. It would be bittersweet that we wouldn't need these sessions anymore. But it would be awesome. Hey, Ephraim, rhyming is it's just my thing. I like to do it when I sing. I can rhyme most anything. All right. Well, look, I just really want to answer your questions. It's just fun. All right, here's what you can do. You can share this broadcast. Now, here's what I ask. Now, I've asked this on the Bob Doyle Show too. People are very nice about sharing. When I ask to share, they'll share, and then they'll hit go, and then that's it. But see, let's face facts. When people share with you like that, and they just share a link and it's just there, and there's no description about why should you watch this, do you do it? No. I mean, unless you already know what it is and you know it's a thing. If you really care about your friends and you want to share this because you think it'll make a difference for them, guys, I don't mean to be like a school teacher giving you a writing assignment, because who likes that? But, you know, if you wrote a sentence or two about, I've been watching this guy. Now, you can leave out all the stuff about me being a lunatic. Let them discover that for themselves. It's part of the charm, right? Look, you can say whatever you want. But just, you know, share a little something from your heart. What would make, if someone shared something with you, what would make you go, you know what, I'm going to click that? Look, I know how self-serving this sounds. But see, this is the beauty of how life is. And I hope that all of you can learn this lesson. We all have our natural things that we do that just is effortless for us, and it's like breathing. And if we allow it, we can contribute value to people. And too many people look at what their natural abilities are and all of that and go, well, it's natural, it's too easy, I can't charge money for it or whatever, and they devalue it, even though it is the most valuable part about them. It is the gift that they were given. And if they do it and they contribute their value to people, then it's only right that they are compensated in some way, whether that's money or through other means. But the idea of how people devalue themselves is what keeps a lot of people just who could be so abundant if they would just ask for what they're worth, right? And get all the meaning out of it and all of that nonsense. You know, and just and look out in the world and see that, look, you pay for things that have value, right? Would you go to somebody who was wonderfully natural at something, and like an artist or something who was just so gifted, and they created this amazing piece of art, and they wanted to charge $2,500 for it? Would you say, no, I think you should give it to me for free because, you know, it's easy for you? So guys, this law of attraction thing, it's just one of my things. I'm just being honest with you. It's just one of the things that I love to do, that I know I'm effective at, etc. So you know what? I do these group coaching programs. I put a lot of time and energy into them, and it's an investment. It's not as much as a ton of people in my industry will charge. For now. But you know, you got to have some skin in the game. Because, you know, I love accountability. You know, and for me, that's what works. If I say I'm going to do something in a public way, you know, it's really hard for me to not do it. You know, and so in a group environment where you're stating your goals and your visions and your dreams for people, it's a fairly intimate, but it's a very safe space, obviously. You know, there's this whole other level of accountability. It's a lot harder to go back, and we set up accountability partners sometimes with people if they're struggling with taking action. If a couple of people are, they get on a call and they hold themselves accountable, and they're getting it done. No lie. It's happening right now. You like the Vegas haircut, huh? Well, you know, I did just get it today, but then I did virtual reality, and the air is so dry here. It's like static is crazy. So this probably isn't what it's going to end up looking like, but thanks for noticing. Finally got it done. All right, so Alberto Ruiz says $10 million. Is that how much you want to pay me to come speak at your next event? All right. I'll give you that discount. All right, I'm being silly now. No questions. Well, it's not because you don't think I can answer them, is it? Because try me. Or is it because, again, oh, I see, the questions are answered. Just be me. Because that's what we're all here to be. That's why we're here. That's why we have our unique passions and interests and so on. And the trouble we get into is when we compare what we think we want to be with what others think we should be, or whatever. When we can just embrace who we are without apology and know that changing from being who you've been, which is not satisfying or whatever, and has you wondering, is this all there is or whatever, changing that, it is a major disruption. If you're serious about it, everything has to change because who you've been being is in vibrational alignment with your situation. When you change who you're being, your situation's likely to change, and sometimes it can be a wild ride. But if you're not prepared for it, you can bail really easily. And sometimes it just takes that support when it gets that shaky. People just to kind of virtually hold your hand and say, just hang in there, hang in there, hang in there, ride this wave, ride this wave. Because how many times do you bail? My life is filled with those times when I knew I should have done something. And ego told me, no, bad stuff will happen, whatever. But if you can just look at the reality that if you keep listening to that voice, you will never get, it's really logical. And yet people keep thinking, no, I'm just going to I got the vision, I got the dream, but you stop at the same place every time. So, it's great you have the dream, but if you don't get past the stopping point, your life is going to be this whole just nonstop journey towards the dream, and you're probably not enjoying it. It's probably more frustrating. The journey should be the fun, by the way. You don't wait until it happens to have the fun. The idea is that what you're doing it lights you up so much that the entire process from here to vision is a fun ride. Right? It doesn't have to be where, okay, I'm going to work and suffer and struggle and hate it for 15 years to have the payoff. It doesn't have to be that way. If you're truly living in alignment with what lights you up, then you just get to do that all the time. You attract the bigger machine of which you are a part, where everybody's just doing what they love to do, and together you make the hugest difference. Can I get an amen from anyone? Joe sort of says, I struggle with that. Ooh, and I don't know what at is. I'm having a hard time finding a new group. Oh, a new group of people who can relate to where I am now. So instead of saying that to yourself, try the opposite. Wow, it's so easy finding these. And get into what the feeling of it would be. Because this whole thing of, that's like an affirmation, right? Well, our ego yells BS immediately, right? So instead of thinking of it that you're lying to yourself and saying, oh, it's so easy, you're just doing that to give yourself a cue to activate your imagination to feel what it would feel like to have those people. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not lying to yourself. I didn't mute my phone. What is this, my first day? Welcome from London. Lenny is also here. Rick. Thank you for the amen. Anyway, see, I just love doing this because working with the people that I can't tell. I'm going to be honest with you. I've said this lots of times, so it's not like a big, huge secret. But there's many times over the past several years that I thought, you know what, I've done this for a decade or so. I feel like people are tired of the secret. That was just my own thing. But, maybe I'm going to just focus on some other things now. I'll use these principles for the rest of my life, and I'll just kind of step away from being the teacher person and do other things. But then we started working with the group coaching, and it just lit the fire again because it's so different to be working with actual people and getting the response right back. I think my signal's going wacky. And I'm like, oh no, I love doing this. And we have fun. That's kind of what I started this whole thing with. I mean, that's not to say that it doesn't get kind of intense sometimes, but mostly it's fun. And you'll see these people show up on the Wednesday morning Q&As, not because I tell them to, because they want to, because we're just hanging out. We're a family, we're having fun, we're supporting each other, they support me, I support them, we all support each other. And that's, even after the 90 days, There's opportunities to stay in the group, but I mean, you'll never take away those friendships. And to have a bunch of people, Joe, who are exactly the type of people you want to be surrounded with, exactly the type of people that you can go to every single day. You're seeing their faces. We're doing videos. It's not impersonal. It's not just text. And we meet live every week in a group setting in Zoom, and we know each other. And we've visited one another, state to state visits. I mean, it's the real deal. So especially if support and relationship are your bugaboos, this is something to consider. So then don't try to understand them, so move forward. Don't try to understand the other people. No, why would you do that? Why would you waste time trying to understand someone who has limited thinking? There's no need. Why would you go down to that level and try to figure out limitation? Absolutely not. Successful people don't sit there and suffer over why unsuccessful people are not successful. They do the things they need to do to be successful. And this is the same thing here. There's no need to put your attention on, if someone asks you for help and you want to help them, and so you want to understand their issue, that's a totally different thing. But, to just kind of try to figure out or try to convince the people, because look, when we change our minds, there's no guarantee that the people around us are going to follow. It may not be their path, and it's not our place to make them or even try. We just lead by example. We just do it without explanation, without apology, without justification. We just live our lives in alignment with our beliefs and who we're being now. And they're either going to watch and follow, or they're going to fall away, or whatever. But you do not ever have to engage or argue your position, because they're married to their position. They're never going to feel like you win. There's no winning. That's why from the very beginning of this whole career, if you will, I made a statement early on. I'm not going to debate the law of attraction with anybody, because if somebody wants to debate it, they've got some sort of vested interest in proving this wrong and again, arguing for their own limitations. They're arguing for a complete lack of personal power, it's just nonsense. Because of course we have ultimate personal power, because we are the ones in charge of the action we take in our lives. If we don't take certain actions, certain things won't happen. But there are certain actions we can take to achieve just about any goal. So these people who say you can't or I can't, whatever, that's them. Right? So there's no need to understand them. Rajneesh says, I'm very much grateful for getting an opportunity to work at London all the way from India. That's awesome. Joe loves the answer. Hooray for me. Da, 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 as you can see. Sorry, da, 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 that was kind of fill-in. I shouldn't get credit for that rhyme. Anybody can do that. So don't give me credit. You can give me credit if you want to, but you don't have to. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. My job is transferable. My family wants me to stay with them with the job at the same place. How to balance between work and family. And I think if I understand that question, this is probably a cultural thing too, right? Here it's like, I'm leaving you guys and that's it. It's, they may not like it. I think most parents are like, okay, go, we're ready for you to get here. That may be a generalization. But I get the idea that in India, it's a different cultural thing. And to not do what your parents want is a big deal, right? That's the impression I get from just my limited knowledge. So I understand that it's a lot harder, but it's still, unfortunately, you got to get down to the same question, and that is, whose life am I going to live? If you limit your life because of the wishes of somebody else, you're not living your life. They're trying to extend their life through you. You're part of their vision of their life. What about your life? You only got the one. Some people believe. So, I know that's a lot easier for me to say. It's easier said than done. But again, you're going to get to the crossroads. It's the point, the tipping point is, I'm going to live my life. I mean, you know, that's all there is to it. It may not be easy. It may not be fun. I've heard not fun stories about people, you know, in your position where the parents just, you know, cut them off or whatever. And look, honestly, it doesn't just happen in India, that kind of stuff, when people make a rapid change of any kind and it goes against the values or the beliefs of the family that they've grown up in. That's, you know, sometimes people get cut off for a while or forever, but sometimes it's just a while. You know, and then you go on and you live a successful life and you show them that you're happy and, you know, we see what happens. But if you're going to live the rest of your life feeling dissatisfied, for the benefit of someone else, parents or not, this is just my biased Western view. So take it or leave it. But that, you know, I'm about the individual living the life they love. That's that from whatever culture, wherever, under any circumstances. That's what I'm about. That's what I want to help people find, you know, to the extent that they can in the culture or the place that they have been put or that they choose to stay. And sometimes it means making those decisions that aren't popular for the sake of having your experience. Because I think that's what we're here to do. All right. Brandy, you got here just as I was ending things. I have no idea how long I've been going. But it's been fun. Oh, wait. We got something from JoJo here. But it hasn't appeared over here yet, and it's cut off here. Okay. JoJo says, I'm from Liverpool, UK. Just setting up my own LOA coaching business. It's quite new here. Any advice for me? I'm a fish out of water, just following my dream. Well, I guess I'd start with like basic stuff, like do you have a vision of how you see your day as a coach? Do you know what kind of clients you want to work with? Like that really, that's a basic business type of thing. Know your avatar, know your ideal client, but also from a law of attraction view, especially you want to, because believe me, I wasn't clear on that with myself when I started one-on-one coaching, and sometimes if you just attract whoever, you don't just want any client. That's for daggum sure. You want, especially as a law of attraction coach, you want somebody that you love them, and you get that great feeling of connection, and it's a positive experience to work with them the entire time, and that's what you want. So if there's any advice I had for you right now, it's like be really clear on that, and that they are happily paying you all of that stuff. And don't make the mistake of going, being inexpensive and, I'm just starting out, or devaluing yourself because you're a law of attraction coach. There are plenty of people who are already successful and have money to invest in themselves who can still benefit from a law of attraction coach. It doesn't have to be the people who have no money, because I'm just saying really clear, because if you're just like, I'll take anybody, you're going to get the people who can't afford your value. And it's going to be very frustrating for you. So if you've got anything in your brain about charging a lot for your services or hitting higher end clients, then that's the work I would say to do for yourself. That level of confidence makes a huge difference when you present yourself as a coach, especially if it's going to be in this sort of squishy place of the law of attraction. You got to really own it. And I see a lot of, and I don't know you, JoJo, so I can't speak to this, but I know a lot of law of attraction coaches who are way too timid, and they're way too soft to be a powerful stand for the results that they can make for people. And you need to be that. They need to have, especially if it's going to be a client that's going to pay you a lot of money. They got to just know you're it. So you got to know you're it. So that's my advice, is if you don't already know you're it, do whatever you got to do to know you're it. All right. Well, this was so much fun. See, just a fun little surprise on a nice, warm Nevada day. Let's do a little law of attraction, right? I might even do it tomorrow at some point. Maybe even Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Because I don't know if I mentioned it, but we've got this whole group coaching thing. and closing the enrollment on Wednesday. This all seems familiar. It feels like I don't know, deja vu, I guess. All right. Well, you're welcome, Jojo. I hope that was really helpful for you. Oh, wait, I'm going to end this. I'm going to address this from Joe because he asked it, and it's is lowering your prices to get sales sabotaging your future business. What's your gut reaction on that, Joe? Because really, it's your reaction that is important. Because if you're lowering to get business because you're feeling lack, then yes, you do not want to do it that way. If I don't do this, I can't get clients. I need to lower my sense of my own personal value so I can get a client and right, that's not what you want. If there's another reason that somehow is tied to abundance, a special you're doing, I don't know, then okay, but I'd be very careful about that. All right. All right, Bruno, you're welcome. And now see, all the questions are coming. I'm trying to use LOA to create changes in my physical body, including getting in shape, curing cystic acne, and growing a few inches. How should I start? Do you know what you want that to look like? And do you know what you want that to feel like? I was a personal trainer, and personal training is what directly led me into this work, because I would train people, and I knew what I was doing, especially in the nutrition area. And, and if people, I would have people who would do everything I said, and some would get great results, and some they wouldn't budge. Now, there's some, there's genetics and whatever factors in there, but when they don't budge at all, when they're going into caloric deficit and they're doing all the other stuff, it's because I know what I learned from this one client in particular is it doesn't matter that they're paying for this stuff and they're paying for your expertise or whatever. Their vision of themselves is still this big, unhealthy, overweight person. They can't see themselves fully in that new position. And this is a whole other thing, but when I was into fitness and physique transformation, this getting my body to look a certain way was like important to me. I used visualization all the time. I'd be running on the treadmill and I'd see myself exactly how I wanted to be running down the beach of Hawaii, because I was competing in like this contest and that was the prize. It ended up they didn't award the prizes, but I still got in great shape. But so knowing that, it's just basic law of attraction stuff too. Telling your body, basically, that you're committed to its health by showing it and feeling into what it's going to feel like. This is where I think that these sort of self-healing miracles take place, is because you're telling the body through your imagination and through visualization, you're showing it what health feels like. So it knows what the corrections there are to make, because a lot of times we get sick and all we do is focus on the sickness. Right? So if we're out of shape, if we've got some health issues or whatever, maybe it'll be dietary changes you make as a result of the fitness quest that clear up the cystic acne. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. Okay, so Joe says, I have plenty of work, but I charge less because I want to help them. Okay, well, again, you're the one who knows how you're feeling about it, right? If it doesn't affect your sense of abundance, then great. Then it's good that you're helping people, giving more people an opportunity. And if that makes you feel great, then keep doing that. I just wanted to be sure that, because you don't want to overwork too. You want to be clear on how much you want to work, right? Like, if you love coaching and you want to do it 8 hours a day every day, okay. There's a lot of stuff I love to do that I don't ever want to do anything 8 hours a day anymore. Yeah, I got to break it up. Joe, you took a picture with me at a Mike Dooley event many years. That pic in the picture. Is the one in Atlanta? Because I think that's the only Mike Dooley event I've been. No, I went to one in Austin. No, I didn't go to that one. So was it the one in Atlanta? I'll have to aim in on your profile picture later. Right now, my glasses aren't on. Sergey says, so envisioning on the goal and how it feels and trust that the body and the universe will lead you to what you have. Well, yes, but you do still need to take the action, right? Got to do the exercising, got to do the diet plan. I mean, what I'm telling you is that when you get that vision, you're more likely to be led in the right direction for the right plan for you, the right foods or the right whatever. I mean, I don't know what your level of expertise is or whatever, but let the commitment and the vision of how you want to feel drive you. It may just be as simple as you're really clear on that and you can tell somebody, I want this. This is what I want for myself. And then someone who's an expert in that area of physical, personal training can get you there. It could be that simple. Just knowing what you want and being able to state it clearly and being so committed to it because you know how good it's going to feel on the other side because you practice that feeling every day. Probably the fastest way to results. And remember also that you're doing that for a feeling, and you may actually reach that feeling well before you reach the physical results that you think you needed to get that feeling. I'm not saying to not be excited about extreme results or whatever and continue that. I'm just saying that it may very well show up that whatever feeling you're going for as a result of that sense of accomplishment or whatever it is, it may show up earlier in a different form, in a way you didn't expect. So be on the lookout for it and be willing to acknowledge it and be grateful for it and say hooray and call it a success. And then keep doing whatever it is that you feel led to do. I'm having too much fun talking. I can go on a marathon. That's what I should do. I should just not stop until Wednesday. That would be crazy. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this music as if to say this broadcast is ending, because it is. Another little friendly reminder, I'll be putting this URL in the comments for easy clicking, but it's pretty easy to remember. BalanceLiving.com/group coaching. I don't think I could have named it any clearer. Thank you for spending your Saturday with me, this amount of time, however long it was. It's always fun. By the way, if you're a ukulele fan, I did a ukulele thing in the Bob Doyle Show fan arena, which you have to join by clicking the link at the top of this whatever page to join the group. There's all sorts of benefits for being in the Bob Doyle Show fan arena. So check it out, if you dare.